Hey guys, so it's a beautiful Sunday morning. I'm actually on my way to service me a little one. I am officially 28 weeks. Sorry for the bump. You know, I'm driving, guys. Alright, so I was just sitting here thinking about the moment when this nurse, I had an OB appointment and I was doing a checkup. I was not there for anything other than just a usual follow-up, checkup. I had an appointment scheduled with my OB the next week in regards to my fibroids. Now, mind you, this was prior to us knowing that I was actually pregnant. Okay, so I'm in here waiting in the little, room, and this nurse, well, actually was two, but it's one particular nurse there. I feel like that she just can be too comfortable with her patients. Bedside manners can be a little bit too comfortable. I'm just gonna say that, right? So I'm there for one thing, and she decides she wants to jump on the topic of my fibroids. Mind you, I'm not here to see you for that. And it's still processing. Like I told you guys before, at this point, still processing. I have learned so much more about fibroids at this point, though. And so I don't know if it was because she had someone there that she was training or what, but I just feel like she was just doing a little bit too much this particular visit. And so she said, well, what are you doing about, your fibroids? Like, how are you taking care of, combating these fibroids? And I was, because I have just witnessed her being a little too much anyway. So I was automatically, on the little defense, like, hey, hold up, wait a minute, what you mean? But I pretty much told her, I was like, I'm taking the holistic approach, more of a natural approach. And she was like, well, how is that? How are you doing that? I mean, that's just, that was her tone. I said, Jesus. Jesus. I said, with prayer. I said, and taking the natural approach. That's how I'm combating the fibroids. Well, I don't, that is just impossible. You should just go. She just blurted out. You should just get a hysterectomy, because it's impossible to get pregnant with these fibroids. It's just impossible, because the sperm can't get through the uterus. It's impossible. I mean, she just was on that word impossible, guys. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get her. So she wanted, like, she was so, so I started telling her about these case studies and things like that, because I had to flex. I had to flex a little bit on my knowledge, because I'm gonna just tell you guys, that's why I tell y'all all the time, make sure you do your own research. We're in the information age, and it's just no excuse these days to just go off of what one person says, regardless of if they're professionals in that field or not. They don't specialize in this particular area, or in this case, she didn't. And so, you go and do your own research. And like I said before in the last video, just me being a Christian and me, just standing firm on my faith, you won't go shake me. Like, so, and I'm gonna just be transparent. As a woman of color in a room with two individuals that didn't look like me, and being told that, oh, it's impossible and you should just get a hysterectomy, And I just felt like it was so cold, because I'm looking at her with gray hair, no shade, but you have gray hair. You have a frame with pictures of your family, of your children that you have had with, your husband, and you're telling someone that is trying to conceive, you're telling this young lady that wants to conceive, that wants to be a mother, that she should just get a hysterectomy because it's impossible. Watch what you say. And I was just taken aback, because I'm like, how many women have she said this to, and that has actually just did it? You know what I mean? So she wanted to, I'm telling y'all, she was just on me for whatever reason. I wasn't even there for that. But so she wanted to, I want you to come in my office, and okay, we can go in your office. Cool. Just me and you. So she takes me in her office, and she proceeds to get a piece of scrap paper, and she decides to draw a diagram of what I guess was the uterus, right? And she wants to draw this line all around and telling me how big, and this is your fibroids, and just, I don't know what her issue was, but I felt like I feel like it was like a psychological attack, because now you're going to go to, mind you, now I'm not here for this. And I kept telling her over and over that I'm not here for that. I will see, the doctor next week in regards to my fibroids. I just kept saying that. And then she wanted to tell me about a procedure. She said, because I just don't understand. I just can't, okay. Just because I'm going over a railroad track, you guys, so hold on. I just don't understand, this is just impossible for it to happen. But I'm like, my thing is this. Now she wants to come in here and now this is just me and her. Now the other nurse is not with her at this point. And me breaking down, the different supplements and the whole, a lot of the contributing factors to fibroids growing, and how you can shrink them, and all these things, and talking about nutrition. So now she sees, okay, she knows a little something. Actually, I told her some things that she didn't even know. So then that's when she wanted to invite me into her office and draw this whole diagram out, and tell me just how it's impossible. Look at where the location. I'm like, this lady is telling me this like I've already seen my ultrasound. I already knew the type of fibroids I had. I knew the location and everything. So what she was doing didn't even make sense. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know what the issue was with her. I don't know why she was just so on it. But she wanted to share with me about this procedure that can shrink your fibroids, because I didn't know that there was a holistic approach. I'm just letting her just do this right here, right? And mind you guys, I gotta remind you that this is during the time I didn't even know I was pregnant, that this lady is telling me I was pregnant at this point, and we didn't know that. That's let me be clear. I was literally pregnant when this lady was telling me to get a hysterectomy. What if I would have said, okay? What if I would have said, I'm just gonna get one because you're right. That's why, and it would have completely shut down I feel like it would have shut down my clear, it would have shut down me, taking away the ability for me to clearly just pay attention to my body. Because I'm going to get into, the next video, like when we found out that I was pregnant, in the next video. But for her to tell me that, and then for her to take me into a room and just draw this diagram, and you telling me you draw, it's a hand drawing. It's not anything from a machine that's verified. I've already seen it. And that's another thing too. When I first found out that I had fibroids, and I asked if I could see, if I could get copies of what they were showing me, she was like, well, I don't know. You have to check with front desk and all those things. I'm like, okay. So when the lady took me into the examination room or the other waiting room for the first OB that I had to talk with me about their findings, she put the picture on the back, on the outside of the door in the little pocket. You know, there's a pocket on the outside of the door where you close the door that the doctor can pull, like where your file will be, can pull it out and look at it. So when she did that and walked away, I got my file, I did, and I took pictures of it with my phone. And that still happens to this day. So I knew the location of the fibroids. I don't know what it was, because at first OB did the same thing too. She drew it out or whatever, I guess to help me understand. But this particular nurse, going back to the present time, she just, I don't know what it was, but I wasn't there for that. That wasn't the reason for my appointment. But so fast forward, now we find out, and I get more into talk to you guys more about the moment we found out and all those things. But now we find out I told you guys the next appointment was when I had to see my OB about the fibroids, right? I had a scheduled ultrasound, another one, this time with my OB. And so when it was time for me to come back, and I'm kind of telling you guys, when it was time for me to come back to my next appointment, we had found out that I was pregnant. This was after the previous visit, and not only that, but I was 5 weeks, 6 weeks or so, 5 weeks and like 6 days pregnant. And this lady was telling me during that time that you should get a hysterectomy because it's impossible. So I found it really interesting, because after that moment of everyone knowing that I was pregnant, this nurse knows me. Like, I used to go get annuals, check up and things like that, and I would see her as I would, from my teenage years to 20s and things like that. So she knew my face. But y'all, why was she avoiding me? She wouldn't make eye contact with me. I tried to get her attention, or nothing. It's like she was. You know how you can tell if somebody's ducking you or trying to avoid you for those. That's what we say in the country. You ducking me. But she would not. I would wave at her and things like that, and she kind of it's like she was really trying to avoid me, and that went on for a while, until one day I ran into her at a local grocery store. Yes, I did. I actually had an appointment coming up too, and I ran into her at a local grocery store. Now, I was pregnant, guys. Like I said, this is the lady that told me it's impossible. You need to just get a hysterectomy. Like it's nothing, like buying a pair of shoes. And so I saw her and I was like, hey. She said, hey, Angela. Knew my name and everything, y'all. She know me. She knew who I was during those visits. That she was avoiding me. But anyway, she said, hey, Angela, how are you doing? And I had it was cold around that time. I had my jacket on, and I kind of flipped my jacket back. I was like, we're doing fine. She was like, I see. And I was like, because when I told her, hey, I said, I'm going to start calling you Mrs. Impossible. And she said, you know what, Angela? This is exactly what she said. She said, I could do anything but hold my head down. And this is not to gloat. This is a message in this. She said, I couldn't do anything but just hold my head down. I didn't know what to say to you, because I told you that it was impossible. And I told her, I was like, I said, that word, you have to be mindful of that word. I said, all things are possible through Christ. I said, it's so, when she was saying that she was holding her head down and all that, I was like, hold your head up. I said, you know what? I said, God uses us. He uses people all the time to, elevate their faith. And I said, don't, feel bad or anything like that. I mean, it was just a lesson, that I guess was meant to, be learned. And it was just a moment, because as I said before, you know, being a Christian and my Christian viewers, you have to be bold in your faith. You have to stand firm, and when you're doing that, be prepared to stand alone. But there are those moments when, you know, when you do those things, that you're never gonna look like a fool. You're never gonna look foolish. I'm gonna say that. When you are standing firm on your faith and you believe it in your heart, you know, you stand on that. You stand on it. And that's what I did. And in doing that, and not gloating, and because it's not, you don't do that. It's not about that. But you know, just, I'm gonna say, just displaying yourself with grace, and just sit back and just watch what God does. And me sharing this is no, you know, I feel like it's something that I have to do, because I experienced this, and you know, I'm going to continue to share my journey. But in experiencing this, during this time of, you know, coronavirus and things like that, like, listen, it wasn't easy. I felt like I was by myself a lot of the times. Like I said, that moment of me being in the waiting room, and I'm in there by myself with two nurses telling me, you know, well, the other nurse just kind of stood there or whatever. But this nurse just, you know, with such conviction telling me, you need to just get it out. With no empathy, you're not thinking of what you're saying. You're telling this young lady to just give up and forget it. It's impossible. It's not going to happen. And then having to now eat your words. I have to share this. I have to talk about this, because I don't know how many other women have experienced this and was told about, you know, just completely, utterly, it's impossible. Just get a hysterectomy and be done with it. You know, it was just something that I would never forget, and I'm going on record sharing this. But yeah, being told by a stranger, and then, you know, even people that, you know, you would like to be in your corner, but they just can't see it. But you're not by yourself, because Christ is with you. And, you know, I just wanted to just share that experience that I had, and me sitting here now being 28 weeks pregnant. The little one is doing excellent. I'm staying fit, staying healthy, and just staying happy, keeping positive energy around me, and, you know, being mindful of the type of energy I'm, you know, letting out. It feels great. So I just wanted to stop and share this with you guys, what this nurse told me, and, you know, just want to encourage you guys. I don't know if you're going through this. I don't know if you're trying to conceive. I don't know if you're being told that you just need to just give up, you know, it's not going to work, it's not going to happen. It happened for me. And if it can happen for me, it can happen for you. Just keep your faith. Stay positive. Watch the energy that you're taking in. And that is mentally, what you're allowing in between your ears are key to just keeping your faith strong. And if it's the Lord's will, then it will happen for you. But don't just give up because people are telling you, from their own understanding, what they feel can and cannot happen for you. So that's just my little, you know, moment of sharing what the naysayers said, what this nurse told me during an OB appointment, and me sitting there with this baby growing inside of me, and I had no idea. But I believed and I stood firm on that. And I want you to continue to do that as well. Until the next video, guys, I will see you. I love you. Stay blessed. Bye.